Yes, Najwa.
Okay, I think we're live now.
Yes.
So, good evening, or good afternoon, or good morning, our international audience. At any time of the day and wherever you are, it's my pleasure to welcome everyone to the opening of our new project, Youth Coaching Program. Also, I would like to extend a special welcome to our distinguished speaker, Ashraf Zallat, who will be speaking later in this event. So I will start with a quick introduction of this program so that you can have an idea about its objectives. But let me first introduce myself. My name is Najwa Laaraibi. I am one of GBF Young Leaders. I am a certified teacher of English and a master's student in applied linguistics and English language teaching at the Faculty of Education. So this program is meant to coach the future of our nation, youth. Our aim is to empower them on a variety of themes that are relevant to their professional life, their academic life, or even their personal life. So youth empowerment is the way to create a better world for us and for subsequent generations, okay? It is the key to prosper and to live the life we've always dreamed of. Youth empowerment is vital, for it reminds us that we do not stand alone. Therefore, every Saturday, we're inviting distinguished and influential speakers from different backgrounds. They will be sharing with us their expertise, knowledge, and experience with regard to interesting themes such as time management, decision-making, civic engagement, leadership, emotional intelligence, reaching goals, and career development. So I would like to thank all GBF staff who have contributed to this project. Without their hard work and dedication, we couldn't have made today a reality. So for those who don't know GBF or who are like new to this association, I will be introducing it. So GBF is an NGO based in Morocco. It's a place of rebirth and success with its great leaders who opt for a change and high performance. It offers great opportunities for growth in leadership, global education, and peace building. Its purpose is to empower both youth and teachers by organizing various webinars, seminars, and conferences. It also delivers presentations, conducts workshops, and offers TEFL courses. GBF has trained and coached both youth and teachers in several countries around the world. So, Mr. Hussein, would you like to introduce yourself before I move to introducing our guest speaker?
Yes, hello everyone, and I hope you are doing great. It's our pleasure to welcome you here, all of you, to our second program. The first one is about English language teaching webinar, and the second one, which is produced, directed, and presented by one of GBF leaders, Najwa Laaraibi. It's about coaching youth. And as you may know, that one of the goals of Global Pass Foundation is to empower young people with the 21st century skills, to create positive changes in their communities. And we are very proud of Najwa Laaraibi for designing this wonderful program to empower, young people. And I do believe that Najwa Laaraibi is a good model for Moroccan, female students or female young people for helping to push and to develop both personally and professionally. Thank you, Najwa, and thanks a lot our guest speaker, Ashraf Zallat, for accepting invitation and delivering a very insightful presentation, which will be about leadership. And we all want to be leaders and not imitators and followers. Thank you, Najwa Laaraibi.
Exactly, Mr. Hussein. Thank you so much for your warm and kind. Thank you. It's an honor for me. So now for our speaker, Ashraf Zallat is with us now from Hungary. He's a PhD candidate He's also a public speaker and a founder of Eden Academy. And he's got a master's degree in strategic tourism planning from Budapest Business School University. He will be speaking on leadership skills. Let's welcome him. So Ashraf, thank you so much for being with us today and for accepting our invitation.
Thank you very much, Najwa. It's a pleasure to be with you today. Thank you for the invitation. And I'm really delighted to be in the first station of this amazing initiative, Global Boss project. I hope today's topic will be beneficial for us and also for people watching us live stream right now. And I hope the information we can discuss today in our interaction will help in like a percentage, at least, in inspiring someone to be a leader or inspiring someone to be working with a leader. So yeah, thank you again for the invitation.
Perfect. Thank you, Ashraf. I'm sure what you will share with us today will be of great help to our youth, of course. So Ashraf, before we dive into the topic, I would like you first to introduce us to your Eden Academy. Like how did you get like the idea or the concept of creating it or of founding it? What are its objectives? And of course, is it open for leaders by experience who already like have good like leadership skills, or is it open for leaders by like passion who are still in the progress of developing their leadership skills?
Yeah, sure. So basically, before answering this, I can tell you that no, I live with a belief, which is life can only be lived forward. But at a certain time, when you look backwards, you start understanding some things, and you can see that your life events make perfect sense in a way or another. So if you ask me this question, like why this event 1 year ago, I will be like, I don't know. I just want some new challenge. Maybe I'm bored. Maybe I would like to feel like a leader or something. Asking me now is a different story because I'm looking backwards and I'm seeing just it's something which had to happen someday after the all events which I lived in my during the past years of my childhood, and then after graduation of the high school during the 3 years in the higher school of technology in Essaouira. So this had to happen, just like events which come in the future. So basically, Aident is an academy for youth. We are a team of international students, but currently we are a team of Moroccan students living in Morocco and studying in Moroccan universities, and also Moroccan students living abroad. We have in the board team, and I will explain what that means. Some students from Hungary, France, Morocco, but during or all along our work on different concepts for the whole past year, we had the participation of like active for a long time of Moroccan students living in South Korea, living in Spain, living in Canada. My regret is that we didn't have any experiences from Moroccan students studying in African countries, or African students actually from countries apart from Morocco. Yeah. Actually, what happens in Eden, or talking about our objectives, we try to deliver content which, by the first place, try to develop the essential skills of Moroccan youth and then African youth, to not only to become leaders, but also to exceed in their field of studies or the academic and professional careers. We try to work or to create this content in collaboration with Moroccan youth, actually, and also with some professionals. So by that, we try to reduce the gap between professionals who have like accumulated 15 years, 20 years of like experience, and new youth who are trying to initiate their careers, like first year, first internship, etc. So we want some exchange of information between the two generations. But what's interesting about the question you asked, is it open for youth? Actually, talking about leadership, we have developed a very smooth way to integrate Aiden to be part of our team, which is as follows. Uh, our integration or our hiring is based on two things: feeling that you belong to the team, and also feeling that you are serving an impact or a purpose. How is that possible? Let me introduce you to the two kind of teams we have. We have the backstone or backbone or the board of agents, who are people who have job descriptions. Okay, they have fixed tasks. They know what they are going to do for the next month or the next weeks. um, the repeats, many tasks are repetitive, so they know what they are doing exactly, and their positions is permanent. Those people have a clear instruction and have clear vision, which is by making Eden's play on a higher level, you actually create new challenges. Okay, because playing on a higher level requires high quality of content we are presenting for people, and high quality content requires high standards, and high standards create challenges for you to match them. And by creating challenges for you, you learn actually, because your goal is to actually learn something new and to develop inside Edens. So basically, when you do that, when you make Edens great, you become great. The second kind of members we have are the volunteers. Those people integrate Edens by a purpose, which means you bring an idea and then we work on it together if it's interesting. Of course, we are not very selective. Of course, we are open for all ideas and all projects, but we would like to push people who come to us to develop really their ideas before integrating. Or we bring an idea and then we try to hire people to work on it. We explain it to them, and then if they are enthusiastic, they are motivated to do that, we're open to work with them. Yeah, those people have three choices. By the end of their projects, they either get an offer from the board to join us as a permanent position. They can bring another idea and then end their first project successfully and then start a new one, and they are always volunteers with us. Or they just leave the team with good memories, and that's something which is part of our culture right now. We don't get negative feelings about people leaving, because we believe that we all have some academic and professional careers. It is something which will help us achieve that in our careers, and someday every one of us will leave someday towards some bigger goals and stuff. So yeah, we believe that we are all serving a purpose, but we are all learning from each other, and the team is not permanent. So basically, this is actually how Aident works. This is what we developed. This is the culture of Aident. And yeah, I hope I see new faces from people who are watching us now. Get to know them and work with them. Of course, me and my
Yes,
partner
yes,
Ayman.
why not? Why not, Ashraf? Hopefully you will see that soon, inshallah. It's good like how you created this Ident Academy and how you like take this initiative. I'm really proud of you. So in your opinion, what exactly distinguishes a layman, like someone who is not a leader, from someone who has got like strong leadership skills, someone who's a leader, okay, by experience? Like, is it about mastering communication skills, bringing people together, someone who has a vision, or someone who has like strategic planning? What do you
Um, yeah, actually, what I can say about that is that, first of all, before judging and say that someone is a layman, as you named it, or a true leader, it's really tough to make such judgments before agreeing on something, right? Let me clarify something. Uh, Good leadership is subjective, okay? Let me give an example to show you that it's not easy to say that this person is a good leader or not, because it depends on different aspects. For example, um, the goal of a company is, for example, company X is to reach the KPIs, its KPIs in terms of, I don't know, cash flow, revenue, profit, etc., etc. And they have a tyrant leader. Okay, this tyrant, it's something subjective. By tyrant, I mean bad leader, giving commands, very hard, very tough on the subordinate. Okay, well, let's see it from subordinate angle of view. This is a bad leader because it's not what we see on Hollywood movies. It's not the gentleman or the powerful woman. It's not that kind person, inspiring, well dressed, who always make you feel like you want to work with him or for him or become even become him. No, let's switch it and let's look at it from the stakeholders and from the partners angle of view. This guy is reaching our KPIs, is making the company work, is reaching the goals somehow. If this company does not care about turnover of the employees, they don't mind who's working as long as we are reaching the purpose. They don't care about how the company people working feel as long as the goals are reached. Well, those people can tell you clearly and state clearly that this guy is the guy we want because he's a good leader. Simply because from our aspects of achieving the KPIs, he's a good leader. So whose angle is the correct one, right? So this is the difference. We as subordinates, as students, as youth, we are mainly in our entry level position. So we mainly judge from the subordinate point of view. So,
sir, sorry to interrupt you, sir. You're telling me that like criteria, or like, for example, characteristics, it varies depending on companies, or is this your idea? Like,
not dependent on companies, but I'm just showing that the fact on judging someone as bad or good leader based on skills is not the right way to do that.
Yes,
and we
exactly.
see why. Okay, so I'm not saying skills are not important, but I will place them in the right place after. Okay, I will tell you how skills should be considered. They should not be considered in the judging. Okay, so the first aspect we should take in consideration while judging a leader, if he's a good leader or not, is what's the goal. Okay, is our goal having happy team? Okay, collective team working together. They love the company. They have strong beliefs in the company. They love their jobs. They are inspired to grow inside the company. They want to come at entry level. Then they become the future leaders inside that company. Then there is a leader we want. There is a profile or persona of a leader or traits of a leader we want. If our goal is to reach the KPIs, revenue, profit, and it doesn't matter who's doing this job as long as it's done, then this is a different story. This is just clarifying what we want by talking about some characteristics or some aspects which defines this judgment. The second thing I want to talk about is that what I think, in my opinion, what makes a good leader are not skills, but styles. How he's mastering styles and how those levels of mastering those styles of leadership are making him the perfect person for the position. Okay, let me clarify or elaborate on this. Styles of leadership are many, okay? And today I will try to talk about 7 of them. Maybe that will clarify what I want to say by styles are the one who are defining a good leader. The first one is autocratic. And this is something very old-fashioned way of leadership, but many of you can agree with me that still exists, especially in small and medium enterprises, and also sometimes in big enterprises. In emerging countries, we still have this kind. Autocratic style of leadership is do what I say, which means I'm trying to make it seem negative because personally I don't like it. So hopefully I don't inspire someone to use this style. Autocratic is shut up and do what I say. which means me as a leader, I give you order and with clear instructions, you do it and you shut up. No question asked and no opinions and no ideas to suggest. Okay. The second style. Second style can be something similar. For example, autoreactic. It's difficult to pronounce, but it's autoritactic. Okay. It's similar, but it's follow me instead of do what I say. And to make it the difference between the two, the difference is in the level of input the leaders make. So the first one, me as a leader, I just say, look, you do this, no question to ask. Those are the instructions how to do it. Okay. The second one is that I'm gonna do this, follow me, and do that and do that and do that. Okay. So in the first one, I'm giving you a command without me doing input in the work you are going to do, which means I'm not helping. The second one, I'm still giving you a command, a clear instruction, but with an input from me, which means follow me. Okay. The third one, or before moving to the third one, let me give an example. I'm passionate about cooking, and I saw a cook, a chef actually in a French restaurant said something which really inspired me. The leader or the chef or the leader of the orchestra does not need to master every instrument actually, but he has to master how to give commands to every instrument players to give us some symphony, some harmony. Okay, so by that we understand that actually it's not important that a leader masters communication skills, for example, masters how to bring people together, masters the strategic planning skills, having a great vision, masters languages, masters IT skills, which means mastering the more tasks or more skills you master, the better leader you become. Okay, I hope the idea is clear. So here, the style plays more role or more important role than the skills. Okay, so the companies look more about what do we need out of those styles I am listing now, and the idea will be clear, I think, by the end of the styles. So the next is that we're going to talk about a third one. It's a bit between you and old, okay, but it still exists as well. It's pace sitting. Pace sitting, it's actually, I can reframe it in do as I do. Here, it's the new era of leadership when we started actually to make the leader not only command, but command and inspire, okay? So when we command and inspire, here we have this third style of leadership, which is, look, I'm gonna do, you copy me. But if you noticed, three styles now, I said about all of them that they are a bit old-fashioned, but they still exist. But here, what's common between them is that the subordinate still cannot ask questions and cannot contribute with his ideas. So the first one, do as I say, improved a little bit, follow me, which is the picture we see the difference between a boss and a leader. That's the old-fashioned way or fashion idea. And then the third one is do as I do, which means I will perform, you copy. No ideas, no questions asked. You should be glad that I did and you copied. Okay, so this is very negative, but it's a way of leadership. But don't make my way of negativity put you away from these styles, because sometimes you can employ them in a good way, in a positive way, which makes you a great leader. Okay. Now, some positiveness. Democratic style. Democratic styles is not to do, not follow, not do as I do. It's just, guys, what should we do? It's the style I have lived like 3 years ago with some teams and stuff. Guys, what do we do? So we try to come up with the idea from the team, and the decision is made actually by the team, and then the order, no one makes the order actually. It's just we agree that this is what should be done, and then it's done. The fourth one is coaching, which means we have a leader, and this leader tends to coach the team, which means he see the team as some talented people who should just develop inside of the team. Then we have another style, which is affiliate, which is used mostly in Hollywood movies, like getting in touch with your subordinates on a personal level, hearing their stories, try to be someone who inspires them, like the big brother of them or their father if you are a bit older than your subordinate, something like that. This is a style of leadership. This is a style how to you can put your team together. And finally, let me conclude by this style. It's laissez-faire style, and for French people, you can understand it. It's laissez-faire, but for people who speak English, it's let me do, like let him or let her do style, which means this style actually I like it, and I use it with my team. When I see something that I see that one of my team or my subordinates um, can do it, actually just needs the courage, I give him a direct order, not because I am autocratic, but because I want him to challenge himself or herself to do that. Because as long as there is no pressure from my side, um, they will stay at that level and will not progress. So this laissez-faire is delegation. So they feel it as a task, as an order, but actually it's a delegation so that your team improves to higher levels. So what makes a great leader a great leader? Not the skills, but not the style, not mastering a style, but a combination of all those styles. So when you get to know when to use every style, how to use every style, you get something very important, which is learning profiles. And this is a combination between the leader and HR. And that's why inside companies, HR and leaders of departments should be like that, because HR brings profiles, a leader learn profiles. So you should learn your subordinates, because for me in a team, if someone gives me a direct order, I would like to take it, take the task, innovate, and bring it to him, even if he's my supervisor, and with my some innovation, because this is how I work. I like to innovate with my ideas. For someone else, that would not be a good idea. That would be like an offending direct order, which is not the thing. So the role of the leader is learning profiles. So to conclude and answer your question in a direct way, to distinguish a good leader from a layman is by distinguishing someone who can learn profile, who knows styles, have some skills, which is something HR deals with before bringing you the profile of the leader. That's something before. So I said can learn profile and then apply the right way or a right style of leadership with the right person. Okay, someone likes to get direct orders. Someone likes just to follow what you do. Someone needs someone to show him how it's done before he does it, etc., etc. And someone likes to be attached in an emotional way with his supervisor before being like productive. So yeah, you have to master all of them and know how to apply them. So this can only come in a four ways, just as advices, because it come to my mind. You should know yourself first. What are your strengths and your weaknesses? How, if you're weak in communication, that does not make you a bad leader, but at the same way, you should know that you cannot work with some people who perform well with affiliate leaders. Okay, so I hope you get the idea, right?
Yes, I got it,
So
Ashraf. Thank
someone
you so much.
affiliate is someone who likes someone to communicate with him on an emotional level. You as weak in communication
Exactly.
does not make you bad leader, but you, on a style you cannot apply it. Just master something else.
Exactly. And you have like talked about something really, it's very crucial. Like you said that you've talked about these styles earlier, and you said you cannot apply a certain style with everyone. You have to know with whom you can apply it. You know, you have to, it's like you have to study your team first, and then you can apply these styles. So you can be like an efficient leader.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. So Ashraf, are you with the idea that leaders are made or are born? Do you think a leader is born with leadership skills, or it's like He's someone who develops through process, and or like it's an accumulation of a lot of things, a lot of skill, a lot of,
Um, yeah, well, it's a combination of two. You know why?
Yeah,
Because
of course. Sorry to interrupt you. You can
Mhm.
talk to us about your experience, like how do you navigate being leader you are today?
Mhm. So basically, as I said, it's a combination of two. Some people believe that leaders are born. That's partially true because some people are born with some traits. Okay, there are actually some traits in the personality which can just make you skip some stages toward being a good leader. But that does not make you a good leader. You need to know some stuff which you make an evaluation, a self-evaluation of yourself, and then by that you can know if you are born with those things or not. Uh, Also, I would like to mention that being born is not being given birth like biologically, but let's talk about when you start discovering yourself, when you get the opportunity to get inside the academic work, um, like clubs, associations, or also in a company. That's being born. Because when you are 12 years old, 11 years old, that's, I don't think someone at 9 years old thinks, I want to be a leader, let me discover myself. And then you discover yourself, and then there is something, you develop your skills of communication. It's just a coincidence that you grew up in a neighborhood where you used to have 30 friends, you used to play together. They saw you because you are a little bit taller, so they saw you as bigger than them, so they always give you the leader position. Okay, you take us here, you do this here. So your environment pushed you to be a leader, and you don't know anything about leadership. When you grow up and you're 20 years old, 21, you discover that something happened in your childhood. You were not born with it. It's not a part of your persona, but it was developed by coincidence. Also another birth of yours, that you discover that you were born from a long childhood with something you developed without knowing. So at that stage, you should know those stuff, and then start working on other things. Let me mention, for example, some traits that a good leader should have. First of all, it's what we spoke about. It's effective communicator. As I said, being having a weakness in communication, being introvert, is okay. It's not a big problem. That it doesn't interrupt you from being a leader, but it's not an excuse for not working on it for life. Being accountable and reasonable, always making people or put blame on your subordinate is not good. You should take responsibility for your mistakes, take responsibility facing your supervisors for your team, even if one of your subordinates made the mistake. That increase something very important in terms of teamwork, which is trust and common belief. They just trust you. And trust here, let me just open a small idea. Trust is not built by something you're going to work on. Actually, trust, it's not something you're going to get from workshops with the certificate they give you. Trust is built with consistency and not intensity. It's not something you're going to do for 2 hours and then boom, your team trusts you. It comes with how you talk to your team, how you talk to them when you're on your phone and someone is coming to ask, did you push him away in a rude way or something? It's like small behaviors that build the trust between you and your team. And that you can see clearly in a military team. A military team, it's not a team of military, but it's a word which describes a team inside a company or a group of people who have really common beliefs and the big trusts to a level that they feel they're brothers and sisters. So we call them a military team. So every leader should seek the creation of military team. And by that, I want to go back to the first point. If you saw military on movies or anything, the supervisor, the sergeant, is always hard, autocratic, but at the same time, during war, he's affiliate, he can attach emotionally to you. If you lose someone, he can be really, really calm in some situations, really, really empathic in some situations, feel you, be nice to you in some situations, but that does not make him less than an autocratic and hard leader. So it's like an symbol of all what I mentioned before. The third one is being long-term thinker. You should have a vision longer than your team. Your team has a vision about the next month. Some of your team may have a vision about next month salary. You should have a vision about your team, about what they think about who's leaving, who's staying, who's feeling, who's going to feel sad or feel more a deadly routine next 3 months. And yeah, and you should act on that. And also you should know your project, what you're working on, company, project, whatever, and always be one step at least ahead of your team. Be self-motivated. You don't need someone to motivate you. If you do, then you should follow. And excuse me to go back to something I heard at the beginning, because it still
Yes,
comes
please
in my
take your
mind.
time.
Yeah, because Mr. Hussein said that we want to be leaders, but we don't want to be followers. Being a follower actually is not bad, because without followers, everybody will be a leader of no pack. Okay, so actually we need good followers. It's good followers who make good leaders exist. Because if you are a good leader and you have some bad followers, some bad subordinates who make your day hell, that won't help you develop. That won't help you help them by being a good leader. So yeah, it's not bad if you feel you don't want to lead, you just want to be in a team and contribute in a team. So actually, yeah, uh, just know yourself. If you need someone to motivate you, going back to this point, be a follower. It's better. You can contribute better. If you want to be a leader, you should be self-motivated. You don't need someone to do that for you. And fifth, you should be confident in what you do. And I'm not saying that someone confident is always confident. Uh, I know about leadership. I practiced being a leader. I studied leadership. I can talk for an hour about different points and aspects about leadership. Yet before this session, I had some doubts. What about if I lost my ideas? What about if I panicked? So being having like some gaps in your self-confidence is not a problem, but you should have a deep confidence, which is the base of everything. Uh, which keeps you moving forward, and despite all the bad or passive things thinking you get. You should be people oriented, of course. You can't be a leader if you don't like being inside the team. Of course, you can't be a leader if you're a Batman. That's why I like to say, when I'm talking about leadership, if you like to work alone, that's not a problem. That's not a bad thing. But it's not really the ideal thing for a leader, because you will be too autocratic. You will feel like you want to do the job alone. Then when you feel that you have any way to make others do the job with you, you will be giving direct orders, you will be losing your temper, and that's not the best the best leader you can be. And finally, let's talk about emotionally stable, and this responding to crisis. When we talk about crisis, we talk about some arguments inside the team, some disargument, because normally a leader is someone, by definition, is someone who can make a group of people believe in his vision, his way of thinking, his way of doing things, and gather them around him. They trust him on on his vision about how to achieve the goals. Then they just go with him. So sometimes you fail to make people believe in something. If they believe that you're a good person, or a good doer, then that doesn't mean that every idea will come up with they should upload for you, because this is not the kind of people we want in your team. So sometimes you will get some holdback people, which are really, really precious in the team, which they will disagree. So at this level, if you take every every deserving offending you personally, you don't want to be a leader, believe me. Yeah, so to see it from different angle, you should avoid being too bossy, too giving too much orders. You should be very good with change. You shouldn't be fearful of change. You can work with a strategy and then it doesn't work. You don't have any doubts of switching everything. And here, let me also mention that it's not personal. It's not offending if you try the strategy and it failed and it was your idea, and then you just switch everything to work with the strategy of your subordinate. That's totally fine because it's your team, you're a leader, but you're not the best maybe in everything. Yeah. You shouldn't be unwilling to or unable to communicate effectively. We mentioned this. You shouldn't be dismissive of ideas or others. You should be open. I'm not really a fan of okay, guys, what should we do? Like from scratch. At least you should have a vision, should have a plan, then welcome others' ideas in order to elaborate, to develop your plan. But as a leader, you should have a vision, you should have a plan. You shouldn't be lacking empathy, even if you are applying autocratic way of leadership. It's not bad. You can be like straight, you can be like a tough leader. You like things to be done perfectly. That doesn't make you rude if you don't use rude behaviors or bad words or something, which is another story. Yeah, but at least you should have some empathy with something happens or one of your subordinate is going through something bad. Shouldn't be inconsistent. You shouldn't also be prone to blame others in every situation that a mistake has been done. And yeah, you shouldn't be indecisive you shouldn't be someone who actually, just a second. Yeah, I cannot make a decision. Okay, just get lost inside of doubts and everything. Here, I want to mention a story of mine. Back in my school. So because stories are always great and makes things clearer to people watching. Back in like 2 years ago, no, it's more than 2 years, it's 4 years ago, it was my first experience in what we used to call club. Like it's a team, we work on charity projects and stuff. And yeah, how the idea came is that me and two friends, we were sitting having lunch, and then we said, look, some pictures on Facebook about some people doing charity works in primary schools, in countryside. Let's do the same. Let's build fund, and then yeah, let's make a project. Then how to make a project? We need a club, we need a team. Let's make a team. And it was our first experience. And imagine that I used to run, or I used to manage the meetings. I speak, which means I had communication skills. I could stood up and talk, guys, okay, you do this, you do this, I will do this, devise everything. I used to plan. I had a vision how the project should be, which means I had many at the age of 19 years old with all those skills. I'm not saying I can make a perfect example of leader, but at that time, at that level of work, I could be a good leader for the team. Yet someone else was taking the leader by my choice, because I like to hide, because I didn't have what matters, which is knowing myself. I didn't know what leadership is. I didn't know that communication is an important thing. I didn't know that planning is a good thing, which I should make the team benefit from. So I just keep developing myself as vice president of the club. I manage things. I hold meetings. I plan things. But there is someone else in the leadership position who was a little bit autocratic. People tended to text me when they are not coming to the meetings and not text the other person. So here we can see that I'm a bit succeeding in being a leader than the other person, but at the same time, I didn't know that. I couldn't see at the time that by people feeling comfortable to text me that they cannot attend. And also, this is an important point. The second point is that they text me and they don't lie. So for example, they say, look, it was a long day. I just can't come. Instead of telling, look, I lost my wallet, and stuff. So yeah, those are two important things. They don't lie to me and they text me instead of texting someone else. But at that age, at that level of skills I had, I couldn't see that as a positive point, which makes me grow. But at some level, I was pushed to be in another team in Actus, by the way, in which I grew up in terms of leadership a lot. I was pushed to be a team leader. Sometime I had doubts, but then I just figured out that yeah, I can do it. Yeah, let's try it. Some mistakes at the beginning, some flaws at the beginning, but it worked. So, and that's what I was talking about, that ident was something which had to happen, because I had fear to be a leader, then I was pushed to be a leader, then at some point I just had to choose to be a leader because people like to work with me. And at the beginning I had to use like some autocratic way to impose myself for people to respect me. No, I don't need to be like autocratic to show myself that I am a tough leader so that people respect me. I just be myself, and then people like to work with me. And yeah, I just play with the styles of leadership, depending on how stressful the situation is, depending on what project is, depending on our standards of quality. If we have something which is low quality standards, we are delivering a story, a meeting, an email answer, I shouldn't be always the person doing it. So I can delegate. That's an affiliate. That's a laissez-faire style. But when hosting, for example, an ambassador for a station, that's high quality content. We should be very careful about how we address him, how we send emails, how we host, who we are hosting, time management. So that's something I should stand up for and be the autocratic leader. Everything should be perfect. Being perfectionist, that doesn't make you bad. Just don't be rude, as I mentioned before. But that also does not mean that after it's accomplished, it's time to be a little bit affiliate, celebrate, be calm, say sorry if you made a mistake in terms of your temper or something. Yeah, so that's what makes you a good leader, is like playing with those things. And all over my experience, I tried to develop my way of mastering them and exploiting them with my team in ident. And I hope the way I'm trying to create the best environments I want in all companies in Morocco and in Africa, and people coming to work with me here can create out of us some people who will go to other companies and actually apply the same environment I try to provide them to their subordinates.
Perfect, Ashraf. Thank you for sharing with us this, like, your great experience. So through all what you have gone through, you've succeeded, you've managed to be a great leader. And you know, the skill of leadership is becoming more and more crucial in our modern society. Like every day, we're surrounded by great leaders, like you, for example, who opt for a change, who lift others higher, and who have an inspiring vision. So how and what can we learn from them?
Yeah, there is much you can learn from them, but learning is on two different levels, which we should pay close attention to not mix them, because we're gonna have a fatal mistake, which is let me start by how we can learn from them first. You can learn from them or learn how they communicate all the traits or all the effective things I mentioned before. You can simulate them. There is someone, a wise man, told me once that if you apply the recipe of a great chef, it will give you a great dish. Okay, but the problem with this dish is that it's not yours. Okay, but it's okay. You have to apply the recipe first before coming up with your signature dish. Okay, so first of all, you have to learn. Let's stay in this example of chef. You have to learn how to fry an egg. Then you have to learn how to play with spices, know what are spices, and then I hope you get the metaphor I'm trying to throw here. Know spices, they know how to apply them, know how to put the dish together, they know how to present the dish. Same thing in the company, same thing in leadership. Know what are the threats, how those what are the threats those people have, how did they develop it, was it something in their childhood or something they started work on it when they were at university. You should know what played the major role of making them here. Were they did they choose to be on the top of their organization, or they were pushed there? How did they get the opportunity to be a leader? All those questions you can ask about people, and then start simulating them to a level that you can see that you have what it takes to make your signature dish right now. The mistake I don't want any one of you to be is to copy leaders, trying to be them. Okay, you just like him or her, she inspires you or he inspires you, you just want to be him. That's not something the world wants. Companies want, or your organization wants you as a unique leader. Try to find what differentiates you from other leaders. You have what it takes, just find your style. And to help you more, your signature will be more in how you apply the ingredients. What are the ingredients? It's the styles I presented earlier. So once you master the styles, you know them. Someone can be 30% autocratic, 50% affiliate, and 20% something else. That gives us a leader. By changing those measures, it gives us another leader. When you try to be exactly the same measures as another leader, you just will burn the dish. So yeah, the taste won't be that good because you're just not him. You didn't leave every second he lived, didn't go through everything he or she went through. So it's not possible to be exactly carbon copy of that leader. So yeah, when you develop, when you feel that you're okay to start practicing, yeah. No, the question which pops up: how can I know that I am ready? It's by practice. Practice gives you an environment. An environment is constructed from two things: from you and the others who will chat you, as if you are a good leader or not. You don't need their feedbacks because, as I said, they can be bad followers, but you need the feedbacks in terms of the goals. You will say, for example, me at Edent, it was me and my co-founder Ayman, and we said we had a year to develop the idea and to bring together a team of at least 5 people who will work with us, uh, believe in what we believe Edent can be. And when we ask them, do you have academic career? They will say, yes, I'm doing my master's or I'm doing my PhD. So we said they should be successful. It shouldn't be a problem for or an obstacle in their success in their academic and professional career. They should love working with us. They should respect us as co-founders. They should respect Ayman as operation manager, respect me as the team manager, the whole site manager. But also they still cannot feel awkward going out with us for a party, having a conversation after the meeting, laughing, saying jokes, making fun of something. That's the team we want. So by achieving that, I know that I am ready to go higher, to manage a higher team, and to have a bigger vision. If I fail to achieve that, it means that something in the foundation was not good. The way I developed my communication skills was not enough. The way I developed how I master my styles wasn't enough. So I'm not ready. So yeah, always judge yourself by the results of the goals you set to yourself, and this way you can have a self auto evaluation on yourself, or self evaluation.
Exactly. So it's always two ways. First, you learn from the great leaders, you observe and you try to, it's like you imitate them in a way, as you like brought up like the anecdote of a recipe. And the second thing is that you have to practice. We know practice makes perfect. You have to practice every day your leadership skills in order to become the leader you always dreamed of.
Yeah, if
Perfect.
I can
So,
see it
Ashraf, in order to, yes, go ahead.
if I can say it in one sentence, it's observe them. What you can learn from them is observe them, practice what you observed, and then move on and try to find yourself among them, like in between them. It's time to be one.
Exactly, to be one of them. All right. Conclude like our talk today. I think, like, what pieces of advice can you give to our future leaders who have like high aims, who strive to create something new, inspire others around them, and become like active members in their communities?
Yeah, what I can conclude in sort of advice to people watching us. Don't force yourself to be leaders. Don't think that less than a leader is something passive or something negative. No, if you just need to explore yourself. If you're a leader, you're a leader. Okay. If you what you lived, what you have been through in your life uh, will make you be a leader easily. You can be a leader by working on yourself, developing some skills, developing some traits. Yeah, and that's good for you. Yet consider that you can still make a part of the back office, the hidden people who contribute, like make huge contribution to the project and stuff, and you would be more comfortable than being in the spotlight as a leader. So consider also being a part of the team. That doesn't make you less than anyone else in the team, but that's very important. Don't think that you can be a leader without being a follower. So it's a really important step of your career to be a follower, to take part of the team. Why? Because this gives you an idea, a vision, a foresight about how your people in your team are looking at you. Okay, it's this the same exact way you were looking uh, to your team leader. Okay, so you have to see it from their angle, and of course you should master the skills or the styles we have talked about. Find yourself in them, and one important thing, which is practice inside of companies, inside of organizations, but also don't attach too much, because I heard this in a Toastmaster event I've been through. It says only when the student is ready, the master appears. What does this mean? You, through life, you're a student. Okay, when you're ready, something will happen which will give you a sign that it's time to move on to a higher level. If, for example, I told you my story about that small club I was in, I was attached emotionally to it. Actually, imagine if it still exists till now, and I really felt that it's a betrayal and it's really bad if I left that team and I stayed there for my whole life, doing the same thing and not progressing to anything else. Okay, you should have the courage to be loyal to the organization, but also have the courage to move on when you feel you don't grow inside the organization, and find yourself, because you're not made only to be a team member of the organization. You want to be a leader, so you should be part of different organism, different teams, different supervisors, and different followers, uh, so that you can be a leader with a bigger vision about what's going on in the leadership world. So yeah, go through much things, many experiences.
Yes. Yes, absolutely, Ashraf, you're right. So now, Ashraf, we're moving towards the end of this webinar, and we will take some few questions from the audience. So the first question was how to be an efficient leader.
That's a question, because efficiency in relation with performance, that can be a tricky one. You should always think about your KPIs, but at the same time perform them, or try to achieve them in a way that your team members are respected. So basically, you should be a team player, holding between your, yeah, it's difficult to answer these questions because it depends on which category. For example, I will talk company. In a company, a leader will have pressure from partners, from stakeholders, from supervisors and stuff, to reach KPIs. And reaching KPIs, reaching numbers, always like crush the members, crush you. So you should be a player, how to make the standards of ethic work, of ethic seeking for goals, be a little bit high, so that it protects your subordinates. Don't go after numbers, after achievements, without making sure your members or your team members are okay. So yeah, you can be efficient in terms of leadership. You can be caring about the goals, about numbers, but also care first about the team, because if you lose it, you cannot be efficient. Yeah, that's an interesting thing I can say, to conclude that in the whole thing. You can be efficient. If you lost a goal, you can achieve the next one, but if you lose a team, it's hard to build another one. So it's better to be in the middle, to be efficient in terms of team building, instead of to follow the goals. Yeah, that's
Exactly. And also it's relevant to what you have discussed earlier. You said in order to be an efficient leader, you have first to observe great leaders and then practice, practice, and practice. All right. Another question. Yeah, one said that could we say that leadership is cultural specific?
is culture specific, right? Did I hear right?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of true. Why? Because I go back to what I said before. We are born, when it comes to leadership, we are born twice. You are born with some traits, which comes up with you, but also you are reborn after, at the time you realize that you want to be a leader, and you start to work on those things. So cultures can contribute in either give you traits of a leader or take them from you. Okay. For example, I'm not going to mention any culture, but imagine a culture which, for example, guys or little boys under 12 years old cannot go out, for example, or meet other people. They will have problems socializing. Okay, that's something which impacts your personality. And as we say, like, personalities are different from a country to another. You hear stereotypes that, for example, Germans are more tending to be like strict in their way of talking. For example, North Africans are more about socializing, talks and stuff. It's not always true, of course, but we can see that the country or the culture can impact your personality. And as it can impact your personality, it can, of course, either give you a trait of leadership or take it from you. So I think culture here matters.
Definitely, you're right, Ashraf.
But yeah, just to add one thing, but as just to make sure, culture does not prevent anyone from being a great leader, as it does not make one directly a great leader. It just contributes either negatively or positively, but does not prevent or give you a huge privilege.
Exactly. We can say that it contributes indirectly.
Yeah, it has just a role as everything else, as your studies, as your
Exactly.
family environment, as everything.
Yeah, it has a small portion, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, so the last question is how can these major ideas help us to have a good and successful leadership in Morocco?
Um, I think that in Morocco, how can we put that together? We have young leaders. We have what it takes to have some great leaders. I think what's missing is the opportunity for those young people to excel, to show up, because normally. I've been through some organizations, I was networking, and I can name some people I know in Morocco just in my network who can do great, for example, in politics, who can do great as leaders in companies. But unfortunately, the system of hiring in Morocco is a bit not considering, not talent oriented. Okay, so we don't have. I think you cannot know someone if he's a great leader or not, if he's going to do good as a leader or not, unless you analyze his personality. I don't think there is a company which does personality tests when they want to hire a leader or to promote a leader. So it's a long shot, but considering being informed about this, it's great. Actually, I see some light by the end of the way that nowadays we see HR people. We work actually in Ident with young, talented HR graduate who are actually aware that leadership is not something related to skills, not because you have 10 years of experience in your position that will make you a good leader of your department, and not because you know how to talk to your supervisor that will make you, or you're a friend of your supervisor that will make you a good colleague of him in another department. So they know this, which we didn't used to see one generation back, like how our parents were hired, how they became leaders on the head of their departments. So I think knowledge is the key for making leadership stand up in Morocco, stand out for in Morocco, is that people, heads of companies, entrepreneurs, everyone who's responsible of making a leader in the position, be aware that a leader is not only skills or knowing what he's doing in the position, but it's a group of things. I hope I answered the
Exactly.
question.
Yes, I hope you did. So, as you said, here in Morocco, it's a bit different, but we are hopeful that tomorrow will bring leaders that will inspire us and that like leaders will be more than followers. This is what we hope here in Morocco. So,
Mhm.
thank you, Ashraf. Thank you so much. You have shared with us all this experience and knowledge. And I'm sure our youth, our audience have learned a great deal from your experience and from your talk. And of course, they will learn what it takes to be an efficient leader. And I hope that today inspires ideas, discussions around the ways that we can develop and better our leadership skills. So thank you so much, Ashraf, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. And for our audience, I would like to thank you a lot for the interaction. They were like interacting in the comments and asking questions. So I would like to thank you a lot and stay tuned for upcoming GBF events. So Ashraf, to conclude,
Yeah,
do you
thank
have
you very
a
much
yeah,
for the invitation
yeah,
again. I would like to welcome anyone who's watching
welcome.
now. to ask me questions, to get to, as I said at the beginning, you can join us at Eden, have some experience. This is the goal. You can get in touch with me personally on my Instagram, Ashraf Izzalat, as you can see it. Or you can get in touch with us all on Edent Academy. It's EDENT Academy. And then we are very responsive. So yeah, get in touch.
Yeah, I guess a lot of people will be like interested to be part of your Edent Academy, as you're a great leader. I mean, as you are a great leader, and you will inspire them a lot. They will be, of course, interested. Yeah. So thank you so much. We call it a day, and thank you for being here. Thank you for accepting the invitation. And goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye, Ashraf, and have a lovely night. Goodbye.